Last week, Apple made its final product announcement of the year when the company announced AirPods Max and Fitness Plus. If you're quick enough to grab a pair of the $550, yes, $550 wireless headphones, they started arriving this week. I'm Jason Cipriani with Jason Perlow, and this week on Jason Squared, we're going to talk about our first impressions with AirPods Max, as well as touch on Apple's new subscription service, Fitness Plus. So, Perlow, you and I were each able to grab a pair of AirPods Max by the skin of our teeth, I think, and I've only had about 15 hours, maybe less than that, since they actually showed up on my doorstep. So just really, truthfully, only a couple hours of using them, including right now. But what are your first impressions?
So, look, for starters, when you tell other people that you just bought a pair of these things, they think you've lost your mind. Okay. So, and look, okay, spending $589 with
Yeah,
shipping uh, for a pair of headphones for recreational use, okay, made by a consumer electronics company, not a professional audio company, okay, where you would normally use it for like a professional workflow type of use, like like these Jabras, right?
yeah.
Which I use for video conferencing and stuff. Um, Sounds completely insane. Okay, when we're in the middle of a pandemic and a lot of people can't pay their bills. Okay, I recognize that. Okay, but part of what our jobs are as reviewers and technology journalists is to determine if this stuff is hype or if there's actually meat to this stuff, right? And yeah, I mean, there's a lot of hype on these headphones. Some of us have been hearing about rumors about them for months. What are they going to be like? Are they going to be, are they going to be better than the higher end
Right.
headphones that already exist out there? How much were they going to cost? I think the initial estimates were as low as $350. I was not expecting
Way wrong.
$600.
Right, right. Yeah, me either.
Um, but that's kind of what we have to do. So, and we're about to go through the process right now, live.
Yeah, life, exactly.
Yeah,
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 so I mean, we had heard rumors that were going to be called AirPods Studio. There was a few other names thrown out there at some point, but yeah, pricing was all over the place. So AirPods Max is, I'm not sold on the name. I get it. I get why they kept the AirPods. They're not really AirPods like we've thought of for the last few years, but
no.
or they're the individual wireless earbuds, and as you can see, they're pretty big. But let's dive in and look at build quality. So far, these are over the ear, not on the ear. So far, all I have to say about comfort level and build quality is they're very comfortable. I don't like on-ear headphones because of my glasses and the way it pushes on the ears and the stem of my glasses. I can't wear them for more than an hour or so before I have to take them off and take a break. And that's just one personal hang up I have with on-ear headphones. So over-the-ear headphones have been more comfortable for me traditionally, and these are no joke. Like they're soft and comfy, and
Yeah.
the build quality itself is, these things are heavy. They're really heavy. You know you have them on. You may forget while you're listening, but as soon as you turn your head, you feel them. The stems are very strong, and there's some resistance there as you pull on them to adjust the size. I have to give build quality, an A so far. What do you think?
So, I bought other headphones in the same price range, approximately, from Sennheiser and Sony, Grotto, things like that. In years past, when I had like the wired monitors that you would use for high-end stereo systems, none of them have had this kind of build quality or industrial
Yeah,
design put into them. Um, so much of this thing is made out of metal. Okay, this is the whole housing is made out of metal. The underneath the band is made out of metal. It is a lot of metal. So naturally,
there is.
it's going to be heavier than plastic stuff. Okay, so when I bought those Microsoft Surface headphones a few years ago, okay, they were $350. The current generation ones have gone down in price a bit, down to I think $249 is what you can find them for. So roughly half the price of these things. Um, but those are completely made out of plastic and feel downright cheap by comparison. Now,
Sure.
if you compare it to these are the relatively new Jabra Evolve 85s. Okay, they're $449, and these are high-end uh, active noise cancellation, noise isolation headphones that are made for work, conferencing, and also music and movies. And they're built like junk. compared to these things. This is all plastic. I mean, I mean, I'm not saying that they are built like junk, but
Yeah, yeah,
compared to these, they're built like
right.
junk. Okay,
Yeah,
so I mean, it's all plastic. I mean, the microphone boom is, it's flip out. Okay, it's made out. The whole thing is made out of plastic. Um, you know, but they're $449. So that's not that far off from what these
no,
things cost.
no,
And those are high end, you know, headphones for work use. Um, so nobody loses their minds, okay, when you say you had to buy a high-end voice conferencing headphones because when you mention a name like Jabra or Plantronics, right, which are,
right.
way out there in terms of the price range, it's expected that they're expensive because they're work equipment. But if you say you spent this kind of money on Apple stuff, people go ballistic.
Right.
You
They
know,
they
I
start
mean,
claiming Apple tax and oh my God, Apple
yeah,
overprices
yeah,
everything, on
yeah,
and on and on. I
yeah,
agree with you 100%. But I think some of that price, not only in build quality, is justified, but so far I'm pretty impressed with the sound quality. These things,
yeah,
with that, they have active noise cancellation and transparency mode, just like Apple's AirPods Pro do, as well as spatial audio, which we'll touch on here in a second.
yep,
But so far, the setup process is all the same. Each ear cup
yep,
has an H1 chip built into it, so the pairing process is exactly the same as regular AirPods. Instead of opening the case, you remove these from their case. Your iPhone or iPad immediately says, hey, there's some AirPods Max here. Do you want to connect? And then it goes and propagates across all of your iCloud linked devices. And then you put them on, and the world goes silent around you, and it's just you and the music. And
yeah,
look, I've used a lot of headphones over the years, and I don't think outside of some really expensive, I'm talking $20,000 sets of
yeah.
headphones with tube amps and all that I've listened to at CES, I don't think I've heard anything as clear and as crisp as what I've heard out of the AirPods Max. Just in my short time with it now, I still have a lot of testing, a lot of listening to do, but it's pretty crazy. There's like 8 microphones, four in each cup, that are constantly listening to the sound quality and adjusting the EQ. There's no settings for you to adjust. It's all
No.
done magically, using Apple's word there, magically by the software on and the hardware on the device itself. How have you found the sound quality so far?
So I primarily focused, my initial, look at sound quality on movies and the spatial audio capability. Because really, I'm looking at this
Yeah,
as a replacement to going into a movie theater. Not to say I don't listen to music. I listen to a lot of music, but I wanted to really see what the dynamic range of these things were.
sure.
Um, so in a word, they're awesome. Okay. So when I
Yeah,
compare these to other high-end headphones I own right now, Sennheiser, Sony's, um, these are vastly superior, okay, in terms of overall sound reproduction. When you listen to them on a device that's optimized for them, okay,
right.
such as an iPad Pro or an iPhone. I tested these with several movies, with a lot of deep, low frequency effects, like the new Star Wars films, right? And, Rise of Skywalker and all these, Force Awakens, where you have a lot of that low rumbling, kind of stuff. In this one particular one in the final Star Wars film, if you look at the opening scene where what's his name, Kylo Ren goes to the planet to go see the Emperor, or whether the Emperor is the big reveal of the Emperor, and you hear the voice of the Emperor.
Yeah.
Now the Force will, you will become the next Emperor of the Empire. No, what he sees when he says that, you get that very
Spoiler alert.
low level, yeah, right. If you haven't seen it, the low level rumble, there's this rumbling, and actually the headset actually shakes as if it's a subwoofer. And I think obviously they have the drivers in these obviously can reproduce a very wide range of low end frequency to very high end frequency stuff. So whether it's you're listening to that big bassy kind of stuff, the rumbling, low frequency sound effects that you get, that punch that you normally get in your seat when you're sitting in the movie, you get that. Um,
Yeah.
so this thing will completely rally your brain if it goes all the way up. Now the volume
Rattle your brain.
presets, the volume presets on this. I mean, I don't think you can. It's basically set for safety. You can't ultra max it out, and blow your brains out. I wanted to see how far they could tune up. Now there are certain movies that when the master volume sets, it will exceed, I think, the normal thresholds of what these things normally are preset to do. But I mean, I think there's a lot of tweaking they can do with the software and things like that. And maybe
Yeah.
some audiophiles might want, a manual EQ mode, potentially. I don't know if the APIs
You're
are
not
going to
going to
be
get
there
one.
for it or not.
Yeah, you're not
yet.
going to
I
get one.
mean,
They didn't
so
invest in all the microphones and all that inside the ear cups to add a manual EQ. It's
no,
just not going to happen.
but I mean, honestly, for me, for watching movies, it's been freaking amazing.
Yeah,
I don't, it's not hype. There has been obviously tremendous amount of engineering work that has been done to design, not just the look, to call these Bluetooth headsets is really a disservice to what these things are, because Bluetooth is not really how these things communicate to Apple devices. I mean, the Bluetooth is there to handshaking. Yes, Apple designed the H1 tip that has Bluetooth in it, but if you connect these to a non-Apple device and talk Bluetooth, you will not get the sound fidelity. Obviously, Apple is using a sideband channel of some type where they're moving their own data protocol across, but they're all the data that's needed to do spatial audio and the higher bit rate stuff that they're doing. Um, you know, this is why you need to have this talk to an Apple device. Now, I had this connected to Chromecast to see how it would sound.
sure. Yeah,
And,
because
and
they are Bluetooth devices at the core, right? You can still connect them to a Windows PC or an Android phone. You just lose some of that special sauce.
yeah, I mean you're speed limited. I mean, in fact, most of the Bluetooth devices out there, the streaming devices that have Bluetooth capability, are Bluetooth 4.2. This does implement Bluetooth 5.0, but I don't
Yeah,
think they're using it for primary sound data transfer on their own devices. It's there as a compatibility thing for other stuff out there. But honestly, this is made to listen to an iPad and iPhone, and hopefully the new Apple TV, when it comes out, will have that spatial audio capability. The current hardware does not. And also the Mac, for some reason, doesn't implement it either, even though it's in the release notes that they
right. Yeah.
implement spatial, which I thought was kind of crazy.
Yeah, macOS Big Sur 11.1 release notes said it added support for AirPods Max with spatial audio, and try as I might, it's just not there.
It's not
I
there.
can't
No.
I can't find the toggle. And for those who aren't familiar, spatial audio rolled out for AirPods Pro with the release of iOS 14.1, or maybe the launch of iOS 14 itself. I don't remember exact timing, but what it does is it effectively enables surround sound within your earbuds, or in this case headphones, where as you're watching a Dolby Atmos 5.1 or 7.1 produced content, movie, show, whatever it is, and you move your head around, your headphones know, your iPhone, iPad knows where you're looking, and it adjusts the sound in real time. And so
There's a gyroscope and an accelerometer in it.
I, I, I was watching Mandalorian last night to test it
Yeah.
out, and I'm not going to go into details of scenes, but there are several shootouts where I could turn my head and the explosion went from this ear to this ear based on
Yeah.
how I was looking, or as the cruisers go flying by, you hear them go from one side to the other, and it was just as good as the 7.1 surround sound system I have set up in my living room now, if not a little bit more impressive, because it was tuned specifically
It,
to
it's
my
it's
ears.
it's really wild when you hear something goes from the front, and then you hear go to the back of your head, or
Yeah,
these are not. I mean, it's not a software trick. This is every very very sophisticated on the fly processing that these things have to do,
yeah,
and that's where
it's crazy.
what's where some of the build cost comes from, is the components that they need to put in these things to do what they got to do.
Yeah,
It's
that's why AirPods Pro are 250. I mean, you can get them on sale now pretty regularly for 190 or whatever, but
yeah,
that's why they're a little bit more pricey. So, active noise cancellation and transparency mode, that's not a new feature, but it is, they've been on AirPods, that feature's been on AirPods Pro this whole time. But I have to say, I'm more impressed with AirPods Max active noise cancellation than I am with the Pro. And maybe
sure.
it's because these go completely over my ears, and so there's more of a seal there compared to the earbuds themselves. But I found that I can hear a lot less environmental noise with the AirPods Max than I can with the Pro so far. Now, like I said before, and I'll say it again, I have a lot more testing to do, but initial impressions are pretty good. And switching between modes is really easy with the button here on top. You just press it and it goes back and forth between transparency, which lets some environmental noise through, and then also active noise cancellation. Since you've used other active noise cancellation headphones, how do these stack up?
This is cone of silence,
Yeah,
instantaneous cone of silence.
yeah,
You hit the cancel, it's all gone.
yeah,
All
yeah.
external noise is gone. It's crazy.
The the one thing that really caught me off guard last night when I was testing active noise cancellation in transparency mode was that um, going from active noise cancellation to transparency on the AirPods Pro, when you activate transparency, there is a little bit of static with the
Yeah.
environmental noise the mics are filtering stuff. So you still hear the music or whatever it is you're listening to, plus you hear the environmental noise. But the Pro have this level of static that comes with it, whereas the Max, you still hear the music at the same volume level,
Yeah.
but the audio of your environment comes through crystal clear. And it's a night and day experience that really caught me off guard. And again, it's one of the reasons why these are fetching a premium. And I guess it's time for us to talk about the price. So $550, they pretty much sold out within a couple hours. I think
Yeah.
if you want to get them from Apple, you're waiting until March, if not later now. You can get them from Best Buy and some of the carrier stores while they're still have a few in stock ahead of the holidays. But realistically, it's going to be March before these are available. And at $550, it's
Yeah.
kind of crazy. So far, $550, is it worth it?
So, okay, holy crap, they're expensive, right?
Yeah.
Uh, but based on the build quality, okay, and the audio quality of I've experienced with the various movies and the music I've been listening to, I think they are worth it. Now, I question, okay, whether another manufacturer, providing they're using a similar bill of materials, okay, and bill of materials, you're talking about physical components, um, can really make them that much cheaper, okay, or sound nearly as good, because Apple controls their own platform and they can do much more with vertical integration,
Yeah.
designing their own microprocessors, designing their own components. Um, you know, does Sony and Sennheiser or even Samsung um, know how to make speaker drivers using rare earth metals? Yeah, they can make speaker drivers using rare earth metals. Uh, do they have the software development expertise to integrate with iOS or even Android and provide that full surround sound theater experience like this? I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe Sony could make an SDDS, version of, like there are some Sony theaters out there that have their SDDS system, which is impressive, like THX is. Could they make an SDDS studio headphone for Android or Chromecast? Maybe, but I don't think it'll be that much cheaper or cheaper at all. And I don't think it'll be as well integrated
Well,
as what Apple has.
yeah, the problem there is providing a consistent experience, and you have
Right.
hundreds, thousands of Android devices.
Yeah.
How do you plan for all of them? You can't. You have to dedicate it to one specific device so you can tailor the experience, and then you get into the same situation where they have to price it higher, so it's economically feasible for them to even produce and put all the effort into it. Just so yeah, I get what you're saying. For me, I don't know if they're worth $550 yet. Last night I went to bed impressed, and this morning I got up and I was like, my AirPods Pro are pretty close to that. Obviously, the sound quality and the other features aren't quite there, but I don't see myself traveling with these.
No.
First of all, they don't fold. They don't fold
No,
down. They just
not
lay flat,
properly.
and they
No,
have this very.
this case is freaking ridiculous. First of all,
It's a
I
very
mean,
ineffective
it,
case. It doesn't do
it just
anything.
putting it in. Well, supposedly it is a quote unquote smart case, and there's
It
probably a
is.
chip in here or a magnet that this
It's a
thing senses
magnet.
that when you close it, it knows to go into the low power mode and not to to really communicate with the iPhone.
Right.
But the, they're basically useless
Yeah.
for
It
travel.
it,
Those
it
yeah.
it's ridiculously designed. It looks like all sorts of things. I mean, just
Yeah.
Google it. You'll see all kinds of comparisons to various stuff, and it's
Yeah.
accurate 100%. If I have a case for a $550 pair of headphones, I want them to protect. I want that case to protect my headphones. And throwing these in the backpack with the smart case on it, it's not going to happen while I travel. So
No, a
what
third
am I
party
going
is
to
going to have
take?
to come up with something. Yeah.
Yeah, but so what am I going to take? I'm going to take my AirPods Pro because they're smaller and easier to travel
Yep.
with and they're protected. So
Yeah.
do I really need to keep these? I don't know. I truly, truly don't know. Right now, I'm leaning towards no. Thankfully, Apple's holiday shipping deadline and return deadline extends the return window to January 4th or something like that instead of a 14-day window from when they arrived. So I have a little bit of extra time to make my decision, but I don't know. I'm really torn on it so far, but we'll have more to come on AirPods Max, I'm sure, here in the future. But
Yeah.
Apple also launched another product this week on Monday. They rolled out iOS 14, iPad OS 14, new Apple TV uh, uh, operating system as well that included Fitness Plus, which is their new subscription fitness workout service that's tied to an Apple Watch. You have to have a watch in order to use the service. Or I guess another way to phrase that is it's a fitness service for Apple Watch owners, right? So you have to have the watch, it tracks your workout, but you watch videos, guided videos on any of the compatible devices, and it tracks it, monitors it, and I've seen my daughter do a couple workouts. She was really enthused when I told her about it, and it's well designed and it's well integrated. It's easy to use. There were some hiccups with app availability, and I know you experienced
Yeah.
that as well. But so far, you know, if you pay for Apple One Premier subscription, it's included with it, and I think Peloton has a lot to worry about.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm probably going to do a dedicated show, about this myself. So what I was interested in this for, my wife, who was a health club nut prior to the pandemic, my wife Rachel, and she used to go to the gym every single day. For an hour and a half, an hour and a half. She would do the warm up classes. She would do either, she would do aerobics, dancing of different types. She did yoga, all these different things. She took advantage of with the personal instructors in the in the studio type of environment. And when the pandemic came, we were like, no, you can't go to the gym. That's
Yeah,
crazy, right?
yeah,
So we looked at. She worked with her instructor to do online, classes. So they decided to go with the Facebook Live platform, and every day they would do a Facebook Live session of the different routines and stuff that they did, and and they put it up on Facebook and stuff. But of course, that ran into a bunch of technical problems because if you don't use like public domain music and stuff, that will get censored out and you'll lose audio and stuff. It became a difficult mess. So Fitness Plus is a natural for people who want to do the same exact type of thing, have a health club studio exercise environment that is, instructor led.
yeah,
Um, but also integrates all the cool stuff that Apple Watch does. So it gets your heart rate, it gets your pulse ox, all that stuff, and it tracks calories and all those things, and it tracks movement and all that kind of stuff. It's fantastic for that.
sure.
So I mean, you get your choice of different types of routines, different types of instructors, different types of exercises. You can have ones with equipment, without. You can have stuff with barbells. You can have stuff with your bicycle. You can
Yeah,
have regular mat exercise. You can have yoga, and they have new ones being released every week. New full studio length ones. They have short ones. They got mini ones. So the variety of stuff on it is fantastic. And I saw my wife take it to like a fish in the water. Starting now, she has her little nitpicky issues, which I'm going to talk about. She's going to have a ton of feedback for Apple when this thing is done after 10 days. It got to the point where I actually I said, I'm buying you an Apple Watch because there's no way you're taking my Apple Watch from me every morning and using my iPad every morning to play to do this. You have your own iPad. The Apple Watch SE is a whole $250.
yeah.
Here's your goal. Here, I'm getting you an SE in gold with the pink band. What you want? Have at it.
Yeah,
So, you know, so
yeah. I think it's gonna be interesting. They launched it at the right time, right before the holidays, so going into the post-holiday workout frenzy, they'll have plenty of content ready to go. A lot of people getting Apple Watches presumably this year for the holidays. Like your wife, it sounds like she got herself a present somehow. Thanks, Apple. uh,
yeah. I will say though, I am a little annoyed that it requires Apple Watch to go through the enrollment process and even get Fitness Plus to function on some devices because you can't even get the Fitness Plus app on an iPad unless you have an Apple Watch associated with your iCloud account. So that's but you can participate in the videos if you're not wearing Apple Watch, even once you've done that enrollment, I mean, if you decide that if you let, oh, it's on the charger, I can't use it my watch right now, you can still go through the exercise routines. It just won't monitor your heart rate or anything like that. So I,
Yeah,
I
that's
think
interesting.
I think I think that might be turning away some users from using the service. Um, if if they at least don't see what the perceived value is by at least being able to play with it from the get go. I think they should at least give people, a 1 week trial on it or something, even if they
Well,
don't have
they
an Apple Watch.
Yeah, they do offer trials, but to your point, they do require an Apple Watch. So
Yeah,
we'll have plenty more to come on Fitness Plus as well. It sounds like from you and your wife Rachel, which is exciting. I can't wait to hear what her thoughts are on it.
yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to use it. I should probably after all this
I think we
quarantine
both,
time.
Jason. I think we both should use it, Jason.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, we'll see. Maybe we'll do a New Year challenge or something. I don't know.
right.
Um, but hey, so listen, we've actually recorded this entire episode using the microphones on our AirPods Max. We got rid of our fancy mics that we usually route audio through for this, and we've also used them as the speakers for this episode. So it should give you a good idea of what the sound quality is like without any other fancy stuff going on behind the scenes. This is straight audio from the AirPods Max on my end and on your end as well, right?
Yeah, and the only thing that we're doing different from Zoom is that we are using Audacity to record in high definition audio and exporting it in full 320K bit rate, so that there's no compression artifacts or anything like that. So
Yep.
this is as clean as the audio is going to come out of the microphones on these
So
things that you're going to get.
yeah, so let us know what you think about the audio on this episode. The Maxes are living up to their hype and the $550 price tag. I hope you guys have a happy holidays. I'm not sure if we're going to have another show before then, but enjoy the time with your family and your loved ones if you take it. If not, stay safe. Please stay safe. And make sure to keep watching our work, checking us out at zdnet.com. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. I'm Jason Cipriani.
And I'm Jason Perlow.
Have a good day.